Imagine walking into your boss's office and giving notice because your writing has become your primary revenue stream. Or your podcast is successful enough that you can quit your day job. Or maybe having your marketing on autopilot so you can spend your time on the art career you love rather than on marketing. Are you a creative person who's great at what you do, but marketing makes you freeze? You're not alone. I help passionate, purpose-driven creatives overcome fear, find their brand voice, and build a marketing strategy that works for them. Oh yeah, I also make it easy and painless. It's never too late to grow the business you've been dreaming about. Book an introductory call with me, Rob Southgate, at southgatesmallbusiness.com today. And let's take the pain out of marketing together. Horsemen Publications is back at Indy PopCon with 14 incredible authors and more books than ever before. Meet and get books signed by Erica Lance, Valerie Willis, J.M. Paquette, Eric Deckers, Rick Hines, Morgan Moreau and Katie Jenkins, Nick Smith, P.C. Nottingham, Andy T. Hansen, Chelsea Burton Dunn, and K.N. Fitzwater. Catch them all at the Four Horsemen booth at Indy PopCon. PopCon Indy runs June 25th through the 29th, 2025 at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Get more information and order tickets at popcon.us/popcon-indy or click the link in this episode's show notes. Oh, wait, we can't start yet. You need to know about today's podcast. This is an interview from 2024 that was only shared through newsletters and Facebook pages. Since we now have an Inkblots podcast and don't want you to miss out on these fantastic interviews, I decided to share them here. Make sure to check the current lineup at events that we talk about on these shows. You want to make sure that the authors we're interviewing are appearing this year. Okay, back to the podcast. Welcome to Inkblots, the show where I interview authors about their lives, writing, and the books they love. Be sure to follow the Inkblots podcast on Substack. Not only can you listen to the latest episodes, but our Substack also has interview transcriptions and links to books and other items that we talk about on the show. If you like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. It really helps us and our sponsors out. Oh, and leave comments. We really do read and respond to every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Inkblots. I am today's host. Once again, it's me. It's Rob Southgate. Who knows? I may end up being the host for this whole season. I don't know. But we are interviewing the authors that are appearing at Writers Row or are part of Writers Row at PopCon Louisville this year, 2024. It's going to be a great show. We've got such an incredible lineup, and we've been working on the panels. This is going to be a panel room like nobody's ever seen. One of the reasons is the person I've got with me today. I have Chelsea Burton Dunn, who has been at every Writers Row. So your questions might be a little different than other people, like, what's it going to be like the first time you're here? We're not asking that question. So, Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on.
So for the people that haven't met you and bought all your books at Writers Row, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a Kansas City local, Kansas City, Missouri. That's important for Kansas Cityans, the difference between Kansas and Missouri side. I am a mom of 2 daughters, and I write urban fantasy, paranormal fiction, and horror with a little bit of romance.
It's genre blending, but yeah, you are definitely like horror, paranormal. I mean, come on, you got By Moonlight, which is all werewolves and stuff, and then and Dead Man's Hand, which the cover is just the greatest. Although you've got your covers right now are gorgeous.
Yes,
they are out of this world.
They definitely, fit my books a lot, or like the By Moonlight recovers fit them a lot better now. And the Dead Man's Hand covers were on point at the beginning.
On point. Yeah. So, okay, let's do this, because really when people are listening to this, they want to find out what your books are. It's more of an in-depth, because when they walk up to the thing, they could talk to you a little bit, but I want them to be able to hear about the book. So let's start with By Moonlight series. Can you describe the By Moonlight series?
Yeah. So the By Moonlight series predominantly follows V. V is a empath, which is, as far as that world goes, she's the only true empath that exists in the world. There's other, supernatural creatures, werewolves, vampires, fae, witches, but she, there's nobody else like her. So she initially keeps to herself, doesn't really want to be part of that world, even though she knows it exists, and just tries to blend in as a human. But she ends up saving a girl who starts turning into a werewolf. Didn't know she was going to turn into a werewolf from murdering all of her friends one night, and then is, exposed to the werewolf pack and thus the rest of the supernatural community. And there's also, at least in the first book, seems to be a serial killer moving through the country and heading straight towards Kansas City, where it's based. And it seems like it is a supernatural creature of some kind. So,
So
there's
you're chumming the water for future books and future ideas, right?
yeah.
This sounds amazing. Okay. And then the other series, so
Yeah.
that's the By Moonlight series, and is the fourth book out? No,
It's
three
coming out
books. Oh, it
yeah,
comes
there's
out in October, so we'll see. There may be copies there.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see. If not, you'll be able to pre-order right there, and you'll be able to get a signature from Chelsea and a selfie and see her on panels. Okay, we're going to say that a bunch of times during this. The other series you have is Dead Man's Hand. What is Dead? Now, Dead Man's Hand only has the first book so far.
So far, yes. The second book should come out, I'd say at the end of the year, beginning of next year. I have it's gone through edits. I'm reviewing the typeset currently. So we are on ready to go almost for
Cool.
orders.
So
Uh,
exciting.
yeah. And that is it's going to be a trilogy. It is about an immortal war that's been going on for centuries between immortal groups, so vampires, werewolves, witches, and these creatures that I call chenjas, which are shapeshifters, but they can literally shapeshift into anything. And so the first book, which is called Bloodthirsty, focuses on this war's been going on forever. It's kind of stagnant, nothing, same old, just trying to kill each other,
War
basically.
again.
But Ace, who is the main character, she stumbles upon like a prophecy about, you know, something big's going to happen that's going to change everything and potentially end the war. And so she is trying to uncover like how to stop it, not just end the war, but like end the world is what she thinks. So she's trying to figure out how to stop it from going on. And yeah, that's how that first book goes. And so yeah, you'll just have to read, and maybe I'll talk about how the second one goes if anyone's read that one.
Oh yeah, they come up to you and talk, maybe a little private conversation, fill them in a little bit. Exciting. I think that I know the reviews have been crazy for all your books. People have loved them. Dead Man's Hand, I know people are clamoring for book two, so it will be there. You'll be able to buy it, and you'll be able to get a signature from Chelsea. Okay, now we've done all the business, the formal stuff. Let's ask you some questions. So the first thing, and I don't think I've ever asked you these things, which is crazy because we've been together on these things so much. What got you started writing?
Well, so when I was a kid, I actually had a really hard time reading. I didn't have like dyslexia or anything. I didn't find anything that interested in me enough to read. And my grandfather made it a point, because he's a big reader and loves reading. He made it a point to take me to the library, and we just went and tried book after book after book to try and find a type of book that I would like to read. and we would read them together and discuss them. So it was like my first book club experience.
With your grandpa. I love that so much.
And so it was when I started doing that and really falling in love with reading that I then just, because I was a very imaginative kid, I had huge storylines with my Barbies going on that were ongoing. So I just started writing stories, writing it down. Like anything that I thought up, I started writing it down. And yeah, I would say I've just really
Just
basically
it's
since
always been there.
always been there. I've wanted to write a book. I would say the first time I actually sat down and started trying to type a book, I was in like fourth grade. Like,
Wow.
I mean, I don't have it anymore, but I'm sure it was rough. I remember what the plot was, even to this day. So maybe that'll come back around sometime and I'll revamp it. But yeah.
It is funny how those old ideas reform, reshape, and do come back.
Mhm.
Uh, I talk about that all the time with friends because there are projects and ideas that I had 40 years ago that pop into my head, and all of a sudden I go, "Oh, I figured out how that's going to work."
Yeah.
And it would look nothing like it did when I was 15,
Right.
but it finally hatched. It finally took root. It's interesting. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe that fourth grade Chelsea book will get out there. Of course, if it's just called "Are You There, God? It's Me, Chelsea," we know what book that is.
Yeah.
We don't need to rewrite that.
I
Uh, Actually, maybe
think
you
I
do. That might be interesting.
would.
So has writing in general taught you anything about yourself?
Um, yeah, I mean, feel like writing has helped me like maybe work through things about myself, or I've given characters that have, aspects of myself because every author does that. They put themselves in characters. They can do things that I might not be comfortable doing. And it's kind of helped me become a little bit more confident and become a little bit more outgoing, where I'm a very introverted person. And having over time, having characters be bolder than I would ever be, has kind of helped me be like, well, I can be a little bit like that. I can be
Right.
a little bit like, Ace, my vampire Ace. Um, because if she can do it, so can I. And she's kind of a little bit like me. So, um, I definitely feel like that's helped me just be more of the person I want to be writing over time. So, yeah. And also just opening up ideas. Like I feel like I try to be as open-minded as possible as a person. And I think it's a way for me to really sift through my thoughts and broaden what I'm thinking about if I'm writing about something that's maybe not in my comfort zone, because then I got to do research and dig in and think about it more. And yeah, so yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So with starting early with your grandfather getting you reading, I'm sure it's a mountain of books you've read at this point. As a reader, I have the same problem. But here's a question that you're going to hate me for. Who are your three favorite authors of all time? I know, what a jerk, right?
Rob, how dare you?
How about
um,
if I'm going to take a little of the pain out? The three favorite authors that you think right now are your favorites of all time.
okay, that's better.
Yeah, because tomorrow could be different, right?
Yes. Okay, so um, because it's always going to be this way for me. Ooh, man, Rob, this is hard.
I
So
know. I know. What a jerk, right?
I might put like a caveat fourth just because I can't do three. Okay, so the book series that I think changed my life and started this whole thing with my grandfather was The Chronicles of Narnia. So C.S. Lewis always has a place in my heart.
Sure.
Forever. He's going to be one of my favorite authors forever. And then Stephen King, because oh, shoot, Rob. Okay, I say Stephen King, but then I'm like, no, because it's really before him, it was Anne Rice. And
Oh,
like that makes
before
so much
King. She's not
yeah.
usually the entry point.
Yeah,
Usually
she's
it's
my
King and then you move to Rice.
yeah, she was my entry. So
Oh
I
boy.
I read Interview with a Vampire at the age of 11, which
Oh
is
my
yeah.
God.
But that literally ev was
Oh yeah, that
everything.
changes your DNA. That's
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So and love Anne. Love, obviously, I have vampires in both of my books.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's a thing there. But so then after I read Interview and read all of the vampire chronicles that she had out at the time, um, then I started reading Stephen King after that. And then, of course, that was just a whole other level of
Yeah.
horror. He's just so much more visceral horror than her. Well, sometimes. But yeah. And then right now, at my favorite series to read is the Mercy Thompson series by Patricia Briggs. It's like my comfort series because
Okay.
I've read that series so many times, and it is a werewolf urban fantasy series. So yeah.
Ah,
And
that was good. Did you have a fourth one that you were thinking about?
well, I mean, I have to say Tolkien because
Yeah.
I still have my grandfather's original Hobbit copy, and that is another one that we read The Lord of the Rings together. So, and I do love Tolkien, but uh him and C.S. Lewis are kind of like
Well, they were
my
buddies, right?
yeah,
And
they're
when they
my
wrote them, they were sharing ideas. So I'll give you a one, like, and not we're not in order, but for your first one, I'll give it an A B. We'll put them together.
there we go.
Look at that. I cheated for you.
Hey.
Okay. So now you've done Writers Row. You've
Yes.
been at these conventions. You know what it's like. Is there anybody at this Writers Row that you're really excited to meet in person?
Paige Lavoie.
Yeah, she's your one, huh?
Yeah, I'm so stoked because I love the Mothman series. Absolutely love reading it. She's just the sweetest, like everything online that I see.
Yeah.
Because I follow her. I follow as many horsemen and four horsemen authors as I can, but I follow her and she's just like always on there and just such a delight to watch. And I just can't wait to meet her and get another copy signed.
And get it signed. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Actually, when I interviewed Val, I don't know if you've heard that interview yet, but she was telling me all about Val or about Paige because she knows her. And she said literally that online presence is her. And she said she is, if anybody is a living embodiment of a Disney princess, it is Paige.
That's the vibe I feel, and I am stoked. And I know I'm like, a little darker, but that doesn't mean I can't thoroughly love the
Oh
bright bubbly
yeah.
side.
Oh yeah. Well, and she's probably I haven't interviewed her yet, but she's probably going to say the opposite. Be like, I love the dark ones and all that. Like, so yeah, I think Paige is a great one. I think she's going to be exciting to meet. And I've never met her. So,
Yeah.
uh, okay. Here's another question you might not like me for. Okay.
Okay.
This is your dream convention. So all restrictors are off. Who is it that you would most want to meet and have a conversation with?
Oh, Rob.
If you
Hmm.
say Page again, I know you're cheating. I want to hear all restrictors off. Who is it?
Vectors off. Oh, goodness.
No, I'm
Well,
going to
if
be mean. I'm going to put restrictors back on. They have to be alive.
okay, yeah, I was like,
Bam.
it's my dream. Well, let me just okay, because I was gonna be like, fine, Anne Rice. I would love if Anne Rice was there.
I'll give you that answer, but I want to hear who alive would be your number one.
Oof, goodness. I feel like I'm actually feeling like I would be probably like a movie director, actually, like James Cameron or something. Um, somebody who or an actor. I already met James Marsters at my first PopCon,
I
so
know. I think there was a little gushing that was going on at
yeah.
Writers Row. Yes.
Um, and that was amazing, and I never thought so I would ever do something like that. So, yeah, I feel like it would have to be maybe not James Cameron. It would probably be like, shoot, Rob, this is really hard.
I know.
I'm
I
like going,
know.
Ugh.
We're not
um,
here for light and fluffy. We're here to hit the hard questions. Not really that hard, but
okay, well, then I'm gonna kind of go like, to, I'm gonna say, and this is gonna be a very cliche, my
okay.
age answer, but Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. All right. I'm sure it's just because of his acting body of work, or his music. It has nothing to do with Dream Boy Johnny Depp at all.
No, nothing. Couldn't be that.
No, were you a 21 Jump Street girl? Did you first see him on that and go like, "Oh yeah," or was it Nightmare on Elm Street where you first saw him and you were like, "That guy that's like spewing blood in that bed, hot."
Yeah,
That
pretty
was
much.
you.
I'm also one of the people who, as a teenager, I meticulously went through and found every weird cockamamie thing he's ever been in and watched all of it. So I have watched everything he's been in. Maybe, or actually, there's a couple new movies I haven't seen
Yeah.
yet, but all of the his old stuff I've seen. Really weird movies that he was in, like independent movies that he was in. Uh, yeah, I've seen it all. So.
Yeah, he was interesting. He did Elm Street, and then that was his first acting role, and then he did Jump Street, and then he went and did, like you said, all these indie films, and he was doing it so he could have experience with these directors, and that was when I was very involved in the indie scene, and I loved it because every time I'd see it, I'm like, Johnny Depp's working with Jim Jarmusch, Johnny Depp is working with whoever, and I'd be like, other actors might think it's slumming it. It's like, no, he knew these were amazing directors.
Yeah. And they are
And
movies that are like, I wish people did branch out and watch more,
yeah,
and I think that's part of the reason why, honestly, I think because I was younger when I started that journey of like trying to find, you know,